everyone, it's Annabelle. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be repotting my Vanda Suavis, which I got in a haul at the beginning of last year from Spicy Plants. It's grown quite a lot. It was potted in bark when I got it and I pretty much kept it constantly wet. I tried growing it outside for a little bit and then I started converting my Vandas to semi-hydro, and I thought that actually this would be a really good candidate because it was already pretty much in soaking wet bark like all the time. I can see a new root tip there actually. So this one is at the moment kept in a windowsill, and we've had some quite bright sun recently, so that is just anthocyanin spotting that's coming up from the bright light. Nothing to worry about at all, and it doesn't look like we've got any risk of burning yet. Vandas can take very high light, but obviously I'll just keep an eye on that. I'll put a picture up on screen of what it looked like when I got it from a screenshot from that video, and I think it has grown quite a lot because I seem to remember it being quite small. I'm not sure exactly, but we'll have a little comparison. So I need to increase the pot size on this because it's on a windowsill, not in my orchid room actually. This one I've kept on a heat mat over winter with my Rincostylis giganteas in the other spare bedroom. And it's just drinking this cup too fast at the moment. Whenever I go to water them, I always have to check this one first, and I have to check it in between waterings because I just know that it's going to be dry. So I'm going to pot it into a slightly bigger pot. I'm keeping it in a clear pot setup because I'm still kind of, I think, I want to monitor my Vandas and see what they're doing because this is quite an experimental setup and I really want to be able to see root growth and root progression on them. So that's why I'm choosing a clear pot, just upgrading the size a little bit to give a larger reservoir. Look at a size comparison, you can see that this one's quite a bit bigger and will give quite a lot more room for water in the reservoir. So with that said, we're going to take this one out of the pot, have a look at what it's doing and pop it into this pot. What I tend to do at the moment is to, instead of reusing the lacquer straight away, especially with clear pots where I get algae, I will reuse some pre-prepared lacquer that I've already sterilised, boiled, bleached and cleaned off. And that way I can get rid of any algae or moss or whatever's growing in there. So you can see it didn't have that much of a root system when I got it because the roots have all grown around the lacquer. I'm just going to try and knock some of them off, some of this lacquer, just to create some more air pockets, which I'm just trying to do in my repots recently, just to kind of see whether they get a better response from orchids when they've got a little bit more aeration in the mix rather than just plonking this all in and filling around. Okay, so I got as much lacquer out from the middle of the root ball as possible just to open up some air gaps in that root ball. I can't find any dead roots. I did find a few bits of bark where I was a little bit lazy when I did the first unpotting. I'm just going to pick them out as best I can because they don't really want to be in there. That's just going to create mold issues as they decompose. It's fine short term, but they really do need to be got out long term. And that's what we're aiming for now because this isn't just an experimental thing anymore. This is how I'm keeping my Vandas, so we want to pot them as we're going to pot them long term. So I think I've got all the bark out of there. Just a few little bits. The root system looks fairly good to me. I don't think I need to do any trimming. There's a little bit of algae on, but I have just rinsed this off under a tap as best I can. And so we've got new root tips at the end there. So I'm just going to put that in there while I work. Just going to get rid of this bark. Okay, so for the repot, first I'm going to fill the reservoir with a layer of lacquer, which obviously we don't want to put new roots into the reservoir. We want to let them grow as much as possible into it of their own accord. Although this did have lots of root tips in the reservoir already, it's just good practice, gives them more room and gives them a little bit of a break between being in the reservoir, I feel. Okay, so I've just filled the bottom half with lacquer and some ridiculously huge pumice in the middle there that I'm just trying to use up. I'm just going to put my orchid into the pot. I might need to take a little bit of the media that I filled out so that we're sitting the base kind of level with the top. So that's the kind of level that I want to go for. I don't want to bury the stem too much in the media, but obviously we want roots to come out and then go in fairly quickly. So I'm just going to fill around this with a mixture of lacquer and pumice and also some grow stones that I was given that I'm just chucking into mixes at the moment. I feel like that's quite a nice airy product to put in with Vanda mixes. Unfortunately, grow stones are not manufactured anymore. They're made with recycled glass. I've done a couple of tests with them and they don't wick as well as pumice and leca, but what they do is provide a lot of aeration into the mix. So I'm just going to pop a few in with this. This orchid doesn't seem to need that much aeration. It seems very moisture loving from the response we've had from the roots, but can't hurt, can it? Okay, so that is my Vanda Suavis, all repotted from its cup that it was in previously to its new home. So the mix it's in is a mixture of leca, pumice, a few grow stones in there, and I've also run some synthetic wicks through the pot, so they're running vertically. This is to increase the moisture distribution evenness throughout the pot, and also I'm seeing if it'll help with the dry top layer a bit in place of the pebbles. Just another way that I'm kind of looking to investigate how I can increase the evenness of the moisture distribution in the pot, mainly because I've noticed some Vandas, particularly the very thick rooted ones, struggle to actually get their roots down through the top layers. They seek moisture, they're really moisture loving, and if they sense like a dry layer, it seems to like make their roots a bit more likely to go aerial. So I'm just going to see how that goes. This one doesn't seem to have any issues with the leca being dry itself at the top or desiccating the roots, so I'm just going to see how that does. I've got a Vandopsis lysochiloides in a very similar mix at the moment, actually doing extremely well, so I'm just going to see how that does. So that is my Vanda Suavis all repotted into its new bigger pot, and I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you so much for watching today, and if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like or subscribe to my channel for more regular orchid updates, and I will see you guys later. Bye!